What's up guys? So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different beginner mistakes that you're probably making with supply and demand, okay? I made a bunch of these mistakes, and in this video, if you stick until the end, I'm going to go over all 3 different mistakes, all right? And it's going to help your trading so much. You're not going to take bad setups. It's going to help you lose a lot less as well as make a lot more, all right? So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now, we're going to be using AMD for every single example here. So I'm going to show you different examples of literally everything, all the mistakes. Now the first one, if we hop right into it, I want you guys to write this down. It's going to be trading against the trend, okay? Trading against the trend. Now, this is a very simple topic that a lot of people tend to overcomplicate, all right? So let me go ahead and show you this. If we're looking at AMD, we'll go to a weekly chart, right? By the way, this works on all time frames, but we're just gonna do it on a higher time frame right now. If we're looking at a weekly chart, it's very obvious to tell the trend, okay? We're making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and then here we start to make higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, okay? So you can simply just zoom out and identify what are higher highs being made, higher lows being made, lower lows, lower highs, what's going on in terms of structure. And you can pretty obviously tell in this part of the phase we were in a downtrend, and this half of the phase we were in an uptrend, right? Very, very obvious and easy to tell. So when you're able to spot this, you say, okay, let's say you're able to spot this at this point here, or even at this point, or even right now, like 2 weeks ago, right? When you see this happen, now you're able to say, okay, if price is an uptrend, I do not want to be shorting in supply. I do not want to be taking short positions at all if price is an uptrend. I only want to be looking for longs in demand. So that means if we're in the daily chart, we zoom out, we see price skyrocketing, right? Price going up and up and up. We say, oh, look at this. We have this, supply zone right over here. Oh, look at this. We have this previous supply zone right over here. Oh, look at this. We have this supply zone right over here. And when you see this happening, you don't want to be shorting these, okay? It's a very beginner mistake, especially when you combine it with like, oh, price is so overextended, we're ramping in supply, it needs to pull back. It doesn't have to pull back. It doesn't have to do anything. We just blasted right through all of these supply zones, okay? Because price is in an uptrend. And you can even point out, like, if we go back in the daily chart, you can even point out, like, we have this supply zone over here, we have this supply zone over here, we have this one a little bit right here, right? You can identify all these supply zones, but even though you have this in your mind, you don't want to be shorting at these zones, okay? You can use them for taking profit, that's what I'd recommend, but in terms of entering a new position, prices is going up, right? There's nothing stopping this from continuing to go higher, right? And so if long term, like even longer time frame, price is in an uptrend, we're going to expect price to go and make a new high, right? Which means breaking this high at 165. So essentially, you're going against the trend, and you don't want to do that when you're trading, okay? So the first thing you want to do is identify what the trend is, go with it, don't go against it. Just because price is going up, high RSI or whatever it is, you don't want to be shorting at these zones, okay? Very, very simple concept that a lot of people tend to overlook, all right? And like I said, if you're able to identify this, then those are good times when you want to buy in demand. You can see here where price came down to this demand zone. We had a beautiful buy and ended up ripping right after, okay? So when you're able to identify trend, you go with the trend, that's going to help save you a lot of money, okay? Number 2, so we're going to add this in. Number 2, not sticking to high quality zones. This is a huge one, okay? I see a lot of you guys drawing 20, 30 zones on your chart, okay? You do not need to draw 20, 30 zones on your chart. Okay, if I zoom in here, we look at like a 30-minute chart, okay? You want to be trading high quality zones. High quality zones are zones that move very fast without any pullbacks, okay? The faster the zone, the better. And also ones that have a very tight and small consolidation beforehand, all right? So if we're looking at AMD on a 30-minute chart, this would be an example of a very good zone. Why would this be a very good zone? Well, you can see price comes up, we get this rally, we have very tight consolidation, right? Just a few candles, very tight consolidation. we have that explosive move higher. We see two 30-minute candles straight up with no pullbacks. We have a tiny little pullback here in a red candle, and we move up again. And we have a little bit of a pullback here, and then keep going higher, okay? This is a high-quality zone. When you see price, consolidate very tightly, very in coordinates, and we have a very fast move higher, that shows that this is a good zone. Okay, these are ones you want to be trading. As opposed to, something like this. See how we consolidate a lot longer? We do have one 30-minute candle, but then we immediately dump right after. Right? This zone wouldn't be as good. Okay? Same thing, you can even look at something like this. You can see how price ended up, we actually gapped below it. We didn't even hold it, right? Now, this one we had a few good candles, but we had some pullbacks inside. We see these wicks. We never had that fast move with no pullbacks at all. Okay, and that's the one thing you want to watch out for. You want to make sure you're trading very high quality zones. Okay. Let me see if I can find another example here. Right, something like this. This supply zone, right? Or sorry, this demand zone. Or even this demand zone, right? We have this demand zone here. We pop higher, and then we consolidate for a whole day, right? If this was a good demand zone, what I would have wanted to see is price just immediately roar up, and within this one day, skyrocketed up to like $100. Okay, that's a good demand zone. Something like this, where we come down, we drop, we have a small rally, and then the whole day we just kind of consolidate. We don't really see any fast move. That is not a good demand zone that you want to be trading. Okay, you can see price the next day we end up going down. Right, so if you find that you end up drawing a lot of these zones, you have like 20 different zones in your chart, you don't need that. You only need like 1 to 2, 3, or 4 zones on your chart on a few different time frames. Okay, like maximum. You don't need any more than that. So if you find that you're going through every time frame, you're scalping like every mini zone, you're finding like, any little small move, you're saying is a zone, like this little move lower is a zone, this little move higher is a zone. Like these are not good zones that you want to be trading. You want to zoom out and look at where are my high quality zones, where do we have these consolidations, where do we have these fast moves with no pullbacks, and those are the zones you want to be trading, okay? Now, let's move on to the last one, all right? The last mistake that I see a lot of people, a lot of other traders out there, saying to do this. Now, this is just my opinion. I don't think this is I don't like to trade this. Third one is the idea that previous supply becomes demand. Okay, I don't know where people ended up thinking of this. I don't know who told you this. That is not how you trade supply and demand, at least in my opinion. Okay, that is not how supply and demand works. I've tested it. It does not work like that. I've found that strictly focusing on simply supply and demand fresh zones is going to help you make a lot more money, right? Because to me, it just makes no sense. Like you can look at, the way supply and demand works. If I have this, previous zone here, and I draw it out, it's like, well, we came above it, and then we just went right back below it. We came above it, we went back below it. Like it's not, there's no logistical, like it doesn't make logical sense why previous supply would become demand. Okay, support resistance is a little bit of a different story. When we're talking about supply and demand, it's not quite the same thing. Okay, I can even show you like this zone here. This is a beautiful supply zone here. See? You can see how price comes up. We have this rally, this base, this fast drop, and we end up going really far down, right? Very strong move here. I draw this out. Price just chops right through it. It just keeps going through it. This is not a good zone that you want to be trading, right? It's like, to me, it makes no logical sense. Now, there are certain times where it will work, okay? And that's because of a lot of different reasons. Not necessarily because, if we look at this supply zone here, we kind of held it here. We went below it a little bit, but we held it and ended up going higher, right? So the reason people add that in is because sometimes you will see that does work. But what I've found through multiple years and whatnot of testing, that's not simply how I trade supply and demand. And overall, if you want to have the best results trading supply and demand, what you want to do is focus on only fresh zones. So only buy at demand and only sell at supply. Don't be buying at previous supply zones. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't find that it works very well. All right, so these are the 3 different beginner mistakes that you've probably made. They're definitely going to help you out if you are able to stick to it. If you do want to learn more about supply demand and get a free training video, all you have to do is click the link in the description below. I made a free training. Go ahead and sign up and watch that. But if you did, guys, enjoy this video, I want you to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below other videos I should make. I'll see you all inside of the next one.